Hey guys, George at SoundTraxx here. This week I wanted to share with you a little issue I found when I was working on a model for one of my friends. It has to do with the way the steam chuff is generated on the SoundTraxx Blunami decoders. Was it the decoder? Well, let's go find out. Now, a friend of mine sent me a model that he was claiming was dead, and so he sent this to me for me to look at it and open it up and try to find the issue. Well, after a quick address change, the decoder came to life. So what he had done was he had actually set the quiet mode and forgot the decoder's address. So whenever what was happening was, since he was sending commands to the address that the decoder wasn't currently set to, it wasn't resurrecting, waking up to make noise. And since he had the quiet mode enabled, it wasn't making sounds while it was sitting idle either. So that was a quick fix. But when I started testing and playing with it, I would start running it, and then suddenly I heard this. What could be the problem? Well, let me talk about this. So the issue is that there was power leaking into the motor circuit, but even though the motor wasn't turning, so how could that be? Well, the decoder actually uses the back EMF coming from the motor to generate a chuff. Now, back EMF, if you're not sure how this is generated, the decoder is controlling the motor using what's called PWM, or pulse width modulation. So instead of where we see traditional power packs where it increases the voltage, motor turns faster, what the decoder does is it sends momentary pulses of full track voltage, but for short periods of time. And these are the pulses. Now the decoder modulates or changes the width or the duration of the pulse so that way it can control the motor and make the motor go faster. So for illustration purposes, if you're sitting at 25% throttle, for a quarter of a second, full power is applied to the motor. Now, of course, this happens in milliseconds, and so it's very, very fast. That's that high frequency drive that you typically hear the talk about. Now, during these off periods, the motor is still continuing to turn. And while the turning of the motor in the permanent magnets, for any of you guys go back to high school physics, that's how electricity is generated. And so it's this back electromotive force, or back EMF, that the decoder is watching to monitor the speed of the motor. And again, don't read anything into the numbers, but for illustration purposes, if you're going at 25% throttle, the decoder is expecting to get 2.5 millivolts back from the motor, or whatever the case is, to identify that the motor's turning at the speed it should be turning. Now, we've done other videos on the back EMF tuning and so forth, but that's not the point of this particular video. Now, our decoder can actually interpret the back EMF signature to identify a rotation of the motor. And when that motor rotates, the decoder can keep the chuff in time with that. So if you think of it as a digital cam, the decoder can actually see the motor rotations. Now, in this particular case, what was happening was power was leaking into the motor circuit. Therefore, the decoder was seeing this back EMF, this as back EMF, and misinterpreting it as a high back EMF, and therefore you got the high frequency chuff rate. Now, the question is that the decoder? Well, actually, no, it wasn't. I've run into this several other times. One time on my own model, I had actually used the 8-pin plug inside one of the Bachmann models. Well, as soon as I put it on the track, instead of a high-speed chuff, I got chuff, 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 a very slow chuff. So on that particular model, what I actually did was I disconnected the motor wires from the 8-pin plug and then disconnected the motor wires from the motherboard, wired them directly, problem went away. Now, did that solve everything? No, not really, because the issue still lives inside the motherboard, but it's no longer affecting my chuff rate on my personal model. Now, in this particular case, when I was looking at it, I had already done that on this particular model, so I didn't think the motherboard had anything to do with it. Just for grins, I went ahead and rewired the whole tender just to make sure, took out the motherboard, let the cats play with it, wired it up, problem was still there. What I did find, however, was when I popped the motor or the shell off the locomotive, you can see here the small little circuit board where the wires are connected to the locomotive to tender connectors. And what actually had happened was the motor wire has the pin from the connector coming up, and the track wire went and laid on top of that pin. So over time, that pin essentially finally pierced the insulation of the motor of the track power lead, and that's where that power leak came from. When I rearranged the wires, as you can see in the picture, that problem went away. So what I did was I actually showed this picture before, but I had went through and reran some wires, so there's fresh, clean, unpenetrated wires to use to protect that motor circuit, so that way there should be no problems laying in the future. Now, the reason I bring this up is because this is something that we have had calls on occasionally. With factory installed models, a lot of times you don't think that there's going to be anything potentially miswired inside the model, but yet in some cases like this one, you find out that it may not necessarily be there the first time. It could be laying in wait, and over the years, it finally does break through and cause a short. So anyway, if you run into this issue, if you've installed a steam decoder, check this out, take a look at it. Like I said, most problems are not necessarily decoder related, but the decoder is where the symptoms persist, and so therefore it's easy to blame the decoder. But take a look at this, and if you run into this, take a look in your model, dissect it, look a little closer. But as always, we are more than happy to take a look at your decoders to make sure if there is a problem, we can fix it or replace it. But this is just an example that it didn't lie inside the decoder. Anyway, that's everything I've got for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@SoundTraxx.com, and we'll help you any way we can so that you can be successful using SoundTraxx products. That's all for now. We'll see you guys next time.